Beloved, chosen one, heaven saw you rise this morning, before the sun dared to touch the horizon, before your weary thoughts began to form. Heaven had already taken note of your awakening. You didn't simply open your eyes, you responded to a divine summons. You rose not out of habit, but out of holy purpose. The very act of standing up today was warfare in the unseen realm. The angels observed. The darkness trembled, and the throne of God received the fragrance of your faith. You may think it was just another ordinary morning, but the kingdom recognized it as a moment of victory. The enemy whispered through the night that you were finished, that your strength was gone, that your faith had fractured, but you silenced him without a word. You silenced him by rising. The heavens know the difference between the one who wakes up weary and the one who wakes up ready. You rose ready. You rose chosen. There was a storm last night, not just outside, but inside. Thoughts raged. Fears prowled. Hope seemed faint. Yet you endured. You laid down your burdens in the dark. And somehow, even when sleep refused to come, you clung to peace. That was not weakness, that was worship. Every moment you chose trust over panic. Heaven wrote it down. Every tear that fell was translated into strength. When your feet touched the floor this morning, it was not the start of another day, it was the continuation of your testimony. The Spirit of God whispered your name before dawn, and you answered. You may not have realized it, but your obedience echoed across eternity. You proved that even when life shakes you, your faith remains unmovable. There are countless souls who wake in despair, but you, God's chosen one, woke with determination. The enemy watched, waiting for you to give in to fatigue, but instead you gave glory. You whispered thank you when you could have complained. You rose with purpose when you could have stayed buried in the weight of yesterday. And that small act, that quiet moment of surrender, thundered louder than any sermon. Heaven watches moments like that. Heaven does not measure faith by eloquence, but by endurance. Every breath you take in belief is a declaration, I still trust. You didn't need to speak it aloud, your rising spoke for you. And as you did, angels took their place beside you. Because the morning is not a reset of the world, it's a reminder that your assignment continues. Listen closely. You are not here by coincidence. You are not alive by chance. The same God who placed the stars in the sky has entrusted this sunrise to your care. You were chosen to live this exact moment, to stand in this exact hour. So do not take lightly what your rising means. It means God is not finished with you. It means His promise still breathes over you. There is power in mornings like this, when your soul quietly declares, I will not quit. Heaven recognizes the courage in that confession. Your heartbeat became your hallelujah. Your resilience became your worship. You are the evidence that faith still lives on the earth. And now, as heaven watches you prepare to step into this new day, the Spirit of the Lord speaks softly over you. You proved it. You didn't have to perform. You didn't have to impress. You simply believed. And that belief, unshaken and unseen, moved the heart of God. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Let these words echo through your morning. You are not powered by your own resolve. You are powered by divine strength. That is why the darkness could not hold you, why despair could not drown you. You are carried by a strength that does not fade when the world grows weary. Even when fear creeps in and whispers your name, remember who you are. You are not the one who retreats. You are the one who endures. Every challenge you face becomes another stone in the foundation of your unshakable faith. And when the day presses heavy against your shoulders, do not bow under its weight. Stand firm, breathe deep, and remember the promise written across eternity. Your steps are ordered, your strength is renewed, and heaven walks beside you in every moment. So, chosen one, stand tall, lift your head. You did not just wake up, you rose as proof of grace. Let today hear your confidence. Let heaven witness your praise. You have already won something eternal by simply believing again. If this message touches your spirit, pause right now, like, share, and subscribe. Not out of habit, but as a declaration that you walk by faith. And if this word confirms what your soul already knows, comment 777 below to mark this day as the morning your faith proved unshakable before God. Chosen one, what you faced this morning was not random, it was revelation. The test you didn't see coming was not meant to destroy you. It was sent to expose the depth of what's already inside you. Heaven does not test the weak. Heaven tests the strong. You have been chosen not because you are fragile, but because you are faithful. The unseen battle that surrounded your dawn was a divine assessment, a sacred moment where your faith was weighed and it did not fail. There are moments in life when the storm comes without warning. You open your eyes, and the atmosphere already feels heavy. You can't explain it, but you know something invisible is pressing against your peace. That is not coincidence, that is confrontation. Every chosen one must face mornings like this, when the enemy tries to convince you that God has gone silent. But even in silence, heaven speaks. Even in delay, God is moving. You see, faith is not proven on the mountaintop, it's proven in the valley, when you cannot see the promise. When you feel forgotten, that's when the test arrives. And yet, the greatest power you have is your ability to believe in what you cannot yet see. You may have been tested in ways others could not endure, but still, you stand. That's why the storm keeps finding you, because your faith exposes the weakness of hell. Last night, the enemy hoped you would collapse under the weight of unanswered prayers, but you didn't. You refused to surrender. You didn't know it then. But that resistance was holy. It was the sound of a warrior's heart choosing faith over fear. The test was never about your circumstances, it was about your response. You proved that trust doesn't need evidence, it just needs endurance. There are mornings when you wake with questions, wondering why life feels like a battlefield. You look around and see others at peace while you face constant pressure. But hear this, truth pressure is the birthplace of power. You are not under attack because you are weak. You are under attack because you are carrying something sacred. The more heaven has invested in you, the more hell will try to oppose you. Do not misinterpret the struggle. The presence of warfare is not the absence of God. It's the announcement of destiny. You are not forgotten, you are being refined. The furnace you're walking through is not punishment, it's purification. Every disappointment, every delay, every detour has been allowed to strengthen your spirit. You are being trained in the language of perseverance. There is something holy about those who keep walking when the path disappears. The world gives up easily, but you continue to believe. You trust the unseen hand guiding your steps. That's what separates the chosen from the called. Many are called, but few keep walking when it hurts. You keep walking. You keep believing. And that is why heaven calls you faithful. The unseen world watches as you navigate what others cannot understand. You may feel overlooked by people, but you are never overlooked by God. Every tear, every silent prayer, every moment of endurance is recorded. Heaven's records are filled with your faith. The angels are witnesses to your resilience. You have no idea how much honor your persistence brings to heaven. Remember this: tests are not designed to reveal your weakness. They reveal your strength. What you faced this morning wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to prove you're unbreakable. The enemy saw your endurance and trembled. He realized that no matter what he takes, he cannot take your faith. And that, chosen one, is your victory. When the storm rose against you, God didn't step back in anger. He stood beside you in silence. Sometimes his silence is not distance, it's trust. He trusts your faith enough to let you walk through the storm, knowing you'll make it to the other side. That's how much heaven believes in you. The apostle wrote long ago in his letter to the James, chapter 1, verse 3, "The testing of your faith produces strength and perseverance." Those words are not just scripture, they are prophecy. They describe your life right now. You are standing in the middle of divine training. Every obstacle you faced is adding endurance to your spirit. Every hardship is crafting a resilience that hell cannot copy. Perseverance is not learned in comfort, it is forged in conflict. So hold your head high. Even when the test feels endless, God never wastes pain. What you're going through today will become the wisdom you carry tomorrow. One day, you'll look back and realize the test was never to shame you, it was to shape you. The world only sees your struggle, but heaven sees your strength. What looked like pressure was actually promotion in disguise. What felt like delay was preparation for destiny. And when the time comes, you will see that every unseen trial was the handwriting of God declaring, "This one still believes." You are living proof that faith doesn't fail, it refines. Every test you survive becomes a declaration to the universe that you are who God says you are, steadfast, chosen, and unshakable. Chosen one. Heaven watched as you made the decision. No one else saw your quiet obedience before the sun had even touched the earth. There are moments when faith is not loud, not visible, not even understood, yet it shakes eternity. This morning, when you chose trust over fear, heaven documented it. Angels stood at attention, not because of your perfection, but because of your obedience. You didn't need to see results to believe. You didn't need applause to obey. You simply trusted the unseen voice that whispered, "Keep going." And that is what separates you from the rest. The world obeys when it's convenient. The chosen obey when it's costly. You have learned to bow in faith even when the outcome is hidden. That is the essence of divine obedience, doing what heaven asks. Not for reward, but because your heart recognizes the voice of your Father. Every unseen act of faith is a seed. You might think no one notices when you pray in secret, when you forgive silently, when you give even while you're lacking, but heaven notices. Heaven records those moments like precious jewels. Every time you obey without needing validation, the kingdom writes it down as victory. There are scrolls in heaven filled with your faithfulness, written in light, preserved forever. You may have wondered why obedience sometimes feels lonely. It's because obedience isolates those who walk by revelation from those who walk by sight. You are on a path few understand, but do not be discouraged. The higher the calling, the narrower the road, the lonelier the path, the greater the purpose. Heaven never wastes obedience, it multiplies it. You might not see the fruit yet, but the roots are growing. Every choice to stay righteous when compromise looks easier is building something eternal within you. The world cannot see it, but heaven celebrates it. You have no idea how much strength your small yes carries in the spiritual realm. The obedience you give in secret has the power to shift generations. When the angels of God stand in assembly, they do not clap for great talent or fame. They bow in awe when a believer chooses obedience in darkness. And this morning, they bowed for you, because even when your strength was running out, you still whispered, "Your will, not mine." Understand, this obedience is not about understanding, it's about trust. You don't have to know why, you only need to know who. God never demands blind obedience. He invites relational obedience. You follow not out of fear, but out of love. The one who asks you to step forward has already prepared the ground beneath your feet. There are some things you cannot see, yet miracles waiting in tomorrow. Doors preparing to open, but they are connected to the obedience you showed today. When you trust God enough to act before the evidence appears, you give heaven permission to release the supernatural. Every act of faith unlocks divine movement. The prophet wrote in the scroll of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 16, "A scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name." Those words are not ancient history, they are alive right now. Your obedience is being recorded. Heaven writes, "This one still honors my name." You might think it's small, but the smallest act of faith can echo louder than the enemy's roar. When the world tells you that obedience is weakness, remember that obedience is heaven's greatest strength. The Son of God himself obeyed unto death, and through that obedience, salvation was born. You carry that same spirit of surrender within you. Every time you choose humility over pride, peace over revenge, truth over convenience, you resemble Christ more than you know. So do not underestimate your obedience. The world may never applaud it, but heaven crowns it. Every step you take in surrender is a declaration, "I trust you." Even here, God delights in such trust. The tests you face are not designed to expose your flaws, but to reveal your loyalty. Chosen one, there is a divine chain reaction in motion. Your obedience today activates favor tomorrow. Every act of faith is an open door for grace to flow. You have no idea how many blessings are now in transit toward you because of the yes you gave when no one was watching. Before this day ends, take a moment to recognize the weight of what you've done. Heaven has written your name in the book of remembrance, not because of grand achievements, but because of quiet obedience. You may never hear applause from people, but heaven's recognition is eternal. Now, as a sign of faith and agreement, write these words below, "I choose obedience." Write it as a declaration that your yes belongs to God alone. When you comment it, you are not typing letters, you are sealing a covenant. You are telling heaven, "My obedience is not situational, it is spiritual." And when you do, angels move, heaven responds, because obedience has never been about rules, it has always been about relationship. chosen one. When God whispered your name this morning, heaven listened. You may not have heard it audibly, but in the stillness of your spirit, a divine recognition occurred. God leaned close and said, "That one still believes." The world was loud, yet your heart answered softly, faithfully, "Yes, Lord." It was not just another morning prayer. It was a declaration that no matter how many storms rage, your trust remains anchored in the eternal. Faith is not always shouted from pulpits or displayed in grand gestures. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it trembles. But even trembling faith is powerful. What matters is that it is still there. Your belief didn't vanish when hope delayed. You didn't abandon God when answers were hidden. You continued, walking by faith and not by sight. That is what moved heaven this morning, your persistence, not your perfection. There is a sacred beauty in consistency. God is not impressed by temporary bursts of passion. He delights in those who remain steady through the storm. And you, beloved, have remained steady. You may have questioned, but you never quit. You may have cried, but you never cursed his name. Heaven saw your endurance, and the Almighty himself smiled upon your faith. You must understand, faith is not measured by how loudly you declare it when everything goes well. It is measured by how quietly you keep it when everything falls apart. The truest believers are not those who stand in light, but those who keep walking when the night feels endless. And you have walked faithfully through many nights. You did not lose your flame. You became the flame. When the world mocked belief as foolishness, you held firm. When others walked away, you stayed. You stayed because deep down you knew, no matter how far your understanding fails to reach, God remains faithful. Your faith has become a fragrance in heaven, a perfume of devotion that rises every morning as incense before the throne. There are times when God allows the silence to linger, not to test your love, but to deepen it. When you pray and nothing changes, that is not abandonment, that is invitation. He is drawing you deeper, beyond emotion, beyond reward, into intimacy. Faith is not about getting what you want. It's about trusting who he is, even when you receive nothing but his presence. And this morning, that is what you did. You trusted his presence. You believed his character even when his hand was hidden. You proved that you love the giver more than the gift. That kind of faith shakes the heavens. It terrifies darkness because it cannot be manipulated. It cannot be bribed by blessings or broken by absence. It simply is. The ancient words speak clearly about this kind of faith. It was written long ago in the 2nd of Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 9. The eyes of the Lord range throughout the earth to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him. Those eyes have seen you. That verse is not about someone else, it is about you. The gaze of God has found your heart, steadfast amidst the storm. When you thought no one noticed your endurance, the Almighty did. When you felt invisible, heaven was watching. You have been strengthened not by accident, but by divine design. Do you realize what that means? It means your faith has been chosen as a living example, a message to generations you may never meet. Somewhere, someone will survive their storm because they saw how you endured yours. That is the quiet legacy of those who believe when no one else does. There is a certain purity in this kind of trust. It's not built on emotions, it's forged in surrender. You have surrendered the need to control outcomes, the need to understand everything, the need to be seen, and in doing so, you've become immovable. Heaven calls you steadfast. And that title is not given lightly. It's earned through nights of wrestling, mornings of choosing hope again, and countless days of walking when your heart begged for rest. Your faith does not just move mountains, it silences doubt. Every time you choose to believe, you strip power from the enemy. Every whisper of "I still trust you" drives back the darkness a little further. Faith is heaven's most powerful weapon, and today it rests in your hands. So keep believing. Even when you don't feel strong, keep trusting. Even when you can't see, because unseen victories are being written in your name. What began as quiet devotion is becoming an eternal testimony. Heaven doesn't need noise to celebrate you. Heaven celebrates in awe-filled silence. Because the Creator himself has said, "That one still believes." You are proof that faith can survive fire. You are the evidence that belief can outlast despair. You are the living reminder that even when the world forgets God, He never forgets those who keep believing. Chosen one. Last night, darkness checked your pulse. While you slept, hell leaned close, hoping to find your faith faint, your spirit weak, your fire gone. But this morning, heaven declared the truth. You are still alive, still chosen, still burning with holy strength. The enemy was forced to admit defeat. You survived what was meant to silence you. Every battle you faced in the unseen realm was designed to test whether your heart still beats for righteousness. And it does. Your pulse echoes like a drumbeat of defiance in the spirit, proof that faith still breathes on the earth. You didn't even know how closely you were being watched. Every tear, every sigh, every whispered prayer was a signal sent into eternity, saying, "I still belong to God." You've endured nights where pain felt endless, where the shadows seemed to whisper failure into your ear. Yet even then, your soul refused to surrender. You may not have shouted, but your perseverance roared through the heavens. That's what darkness fears the most, not your strength, but your persistence. Because persistence is proof of faith. There are people who think faith is a feeling, but you, chosen one, you know the truth. Faith is not emotion, it's endurance. It's the decision to stand even when nothing around you makes sense. It's the courage to whisper, "God, I trust you," through tears, even when you cannot see the way forward. The night thought it could extinguish you. The weight of worry thought it could smother your light, but your soul remained steady. Why? Because you've learned something the world doesn't understand when God dwells within you. No darkness can conquer you. The battle doesn't end you. It refines you. It's written as a promise and a declaration in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. You've probably wondered why the pressure has been so heavy lately. It's because your spirit has become a threat. Every time you pray, something shifts. Every time you praise, something breaks. Every time you speak truth, chains begin to fall. That is why darkness is afraid of you. It knows that when you fully awaken to who you are, it will have no place left to hide. Remember this: God does not allow storms to reveal your weakness. He allows them to reveal your authority. You are not fragile. You are not forgotten. You are fortified. The pain that tried to bury you became the soil for your purpose. And this morning, heaven honors that resilience. In the unseen courtroom of heaven, the verdict has already been spoken. you are victorious. The enemy's accusations have been silenced by the blood of the Lamb. Every word of doubt, every voice of fear, has been overruled by grace. Chosen one, you are not just surviving, you are shining. There's a light in you that refuses to dim. And, though the world may not yet understand it, heaven celebrates it. You have endured what was meant to destroy you, and now your endurance has become your crown. This is not the end of your story. This is the moment your purpose sharpens. You are being prepared for a season where your strength will inspire others who are still struggling in the dark. You will be their reminder that faith can outlive fear, that hope can outlast pain. And now, as heaven watches you rise, let this message sink into your heart. Your breath is a victory, your persistence a prophecy. You are still here, and that alone terrifies hell. I want to pause and tell you this sincerely. From the heart, if these words reach you right now, it's not coincidence. It's divine alignment. You are hearing this because heaven wanted to remind you how strong you truly are. Take a moment to acknowledge it, to whisper, "Thank you" for the breath in your lungs and the light still in your soul. And if this message has stirred something in you, I invite you, gently but sincerely, to share it, not to promote a voice, but to spread a message. Someone out there is standing where you once stood, in fear, in exhaustion, in quiet desperation, and your small act of sharing might be the spark that pulls them back to faith. You can like this word, not as a sign of approval, but as a sign of agreement. Yes, Lord, this word is for me. You can subscribe, not out of habit, but out of hunger to stay connected to the flow of messages that keep your spirit awake. You can comment, not for attention, but to declare your testimony to others who are still fighting unseen battles. Do it as worship. Do it as warfare. Do it as witness. Because when you align with messages of faith, you strengthen the entire army of light. Heaven knows your name. Warrior of God. Your faith has survived another test. And this morning, the angels stand in reverence, not because you are perfect, but because you are faithful, chosen one. What you felt this morning wasn't ordinary. It was the tremor of heaven responding to your faith. The air around you shifted, not because of coincidence, but because belief always moves. Creation. Faith is not silent. It sends ripples through realms unseen. When you chose to believe again after the storm, when you whispered, "God, I still trust you," something in the spirit shook. You may not realize it, but your faith carries weight. The moment you refused fear, walls began to crumble. The moment you stood tall in prayer, even while your heart was weary, chains started to break in places you cannot yet see. That's how powerful faith is. It shakes kingdoms, both earthly and spiritual. Every trial you have endured was a stage set by heaven for this moment. The pressure wasn't punishment, it was preparation. God has been strengthening your endurance, refining your courage, and proving that no weapon of doubt can withstand the fire of belief burning in your heart. Faith is not fragile, it is fierce. And this morning, it roared like thunder in the spirit. You may have wondered why your struggles have felt heavier than most. It's because your calling carries greater weight. Those chosen to shake darkness must first learn how to stand unshaken themselves. The giants you face are not signs of weakness, they are evidence of your divine assignment. You are not fighting because you are cursed. You are fighting because you are called. Hell knows your name. But more importantly, heaven has marked your victory. The moment you spoke faith in the middle of uncertainty, light broke through. Angels took position. The enemy realized that no matter how much he throws at you, you will always rise. Your faith has become an unmovable wall of light, and that terrifies darkness. Every prayer you've prayed recently has been heard, even the ones whispered through tears. You have moved the heart of God by refusing to quit. The heavens record your endurance like a symphony of worship. Every breath that says, "I still believe," adds another note to heaven's melody of your story. The Word of God speaks clearly in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 20. "Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, nothing will be impossible for you." You've carried that seed for years, sometimes buried under pain, sometimes hidden beneath doubt, but it never died. And this morning, it sprouted again. Every time you choose to believe, that seed becomes a tree whose roots reach heaven itself. That's why your faith shakes kingdoms. It's not loud, but it's alive. You may think you're walking alone, but heaven walks beside you, matching your steps, amplifying your prayers, expanding your influence. You have no idea how many people are being set free because of your faithfulness. When you hold on to hope in the middle of heartbreak, heaven takes note. When you pray for others while you yourself are hurting, heaven records it. When you speak life instead of fear, heaven rejoices. You are not a passive believer. You are an instrument through which God releases His glory on the earth. And so, when you look around and wonder why the spiritual atmosphere feels intense, it's because your faith has drawn divine attention. You are stepping into a season where your belief becomes breakthrough, not just for you, but for those connected to you. There are miracles already in motion because of what you did this morning. That single moment when you refused to bow to doubt sent a command into the unseen, "Let there be movement." And movement began. Doors that were closed began to tremble. Hearts that were hardened began to soften. Situations that looked impossible began to shift. The heavens are speaking. Now your faith is the key. You've been asking God to move, but He's been waiting for your faith to rise, and it just did. That's why the atmosphere feels different today. That's why your heart feels lighter. Even though nothing has visibly changed, heaven has already responded. Chosen one, this is your confirmation. Faith doesn't just shake the problem, it changes the outcome. Keep believing even when you see nothing, because behind that silence, the supernatural is working. You may not hear the roar of victory yet, but heaven does. And now, to seal this word in the Spirit, take one small prophetic act. In the comments below, write the number 555. Do it not as a ritual, but as a response of agreement. 5 represents grace, and triple grace means divine completion and overflow. By writing 555, you're declaring that grace is multiplying in your life, that faith is establishing you, and that everything that has resisted your progress will now bow before the God who fights for you. Let it be your signature of belief, your way of saying, "I'm still standing, and my faith is unshakable," because today, heaven already knows your faith didn't just survive, it shook kingdoms. Chosen one, there are crowns heaven gives that the world will never see. They are not made of gold or jewels, but of endurance and quiet obedience. This morning, as light touched the earth. Heaven prepared one such crown for you. It is not placed upon your head by angels' hands, it is woven through your life, strand by strand. Every time you choose faith over fear, surrender over control, hope over despair, you have earned something unseen, something eternal. You may not feel victorious, but heaven calls you crowned. Every time you rose from defeat, every time you forgave instead of fought back, every time you kept believing when nothing made sense, you were being measured for this crown. There is a beauty about those who endure in silence. The world never notices their struggle, yet heaven cannot look away. You are one of them, the quiet conquerors. You didn't need recognition to stay faithful. You didn't need applause to stay kind. You served. You loved. You believed. And in every unseen moment, heaven was taking note. You see, crowns are not given for success, but for steadfastness. Anyone can praise in victory, only the chosen praise in pain. You have praised through storms that would have broken others. You have believed through battles that lasted longer than anyone expected. And while you thought heaven was silent, it was actually watching, marking each act of endurance. Each moment you stood when you could have fallen. The truth is, endurance is heaven's highest currency. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or faked. It is earned in the fire. You have been through that fire, and instead of being consumed, you were refined. What remains now is purer than gold, the kind of faith that glows in darkness. When you look back at your life, you may see loss, but heaven sees layers of victory hidden beneath each scar. The things that made you cry became the same things that taught you strength. The betrayals you suffered became the boundaries of your wisdom. The prayers that seemed unanswered became the foundation of your discernment. Nothing was wasted. Every tear had purpose. The crown you carry now is invisible to men, but visible to angels. It shines with the light of perseverance. It is proof that you have walked through the valley of shadows and did not lose your song. You may think your story is ordinary, but to heaven, it reads like a hymn, a song of one who kept walking when the road disappeared. The scriptures speak of this sacred reward for those who endure. It was written in the letter of James, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." That promise is alive in you. You have stood the test. You have endured what others couldn't. You have walked through seasons where the weight of grief felt unbearable. Yet somehow, grace carried you. You have learned to breathe even when hope was thin. That is the essence of this crown. It is not a trophy for the perfect, but a reward for the faithful. Do you feel that quiet peace deep inside? The one that whispers, "You made it through again." That is heaven placing the invisible crown on your soul. It is not for display, it is for authority. When you endure faithfully, God doesn't just comfort you, He anoints you. Every storm you survive becomes a mantle of strength you will wear into the next season. The world measures victory by what is visible, but God measures it by what remains after everything else is gone. And what has remained in you, chosen one, is faith. Pure, unwavering faith. That is why you are crowned, not because of what you accomplished, but because of who you became while you were waiting. Even now, unseen angels rejoice over you. They see the glow of that unseen crown as proof that you belong to the kingdom that cannot be shaken. You have passed through storms and stood under weight that few could bear. And yet your spirit still whispers, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." You have discovered something few ever find: the strength that comes from surrender. That crown you wear is made of trust, of endurance, of love that will not let go. It cannot be taken by circumstance or tarnished by time. It is eternal, because it was formed in the furnace of faith. So walk through today not as a victim of trials, but as one already crowned by grace. You don't have to prove your worth. You have already been proven. The test has ended. The verdict is victory, and the reward has been placed upon you. Heaven calls you faithful. The angels call you strong, and God calls you crowned, chosen one. What you are walking through right now is not punishment, it is purification. The fire that surrounds you is not sent to destroy, but to define. You are being refined, not rejected. Every ounce of pressure, every delay, every heartbreak you have endured is shaping you into the vessel heaven can trust with greater glory. You see, the chosen are not spared from the flame, they are invited into it. It is in the fire that pretenders fall away and the pure remain. You may have wondered why life feels so intense, why every step forward seems to come with resistance. It's because you are walking through invisible fire, and that fire is holy. It burns away what no longer serves your destiny. There are parts of you that pain has already purified. You used to seek validation from voices that could not see your value. Now, you have learned to listen only to the voice of God. You used to fear loss, but now you've learned that losing what was never meant for you is actually protection. The fire has taught you what comfort never could. The fire has changed your language too. Where you once said, "Why me?" you now say, "Refine me." That shift is everything. It's the proof that your faith has matured. It's the sound of surrender echoing in the heart of someone who finally understands that purification precedes promotion. Every great calling is forged in fire. Moses found his purpose in a burning bush. The disciples were purified in the fire of persecution. And you, God's chosen one, are being refined through the heat of your own trials. What feels like pain is actually transformation. What feels like delay is divine alignment. When you walk through the fire, it is easy to think you are alone. The flames surround you. The light blinds you, and silence feels heavier than comfort. But heaven has not abandoned you. The same God who stood with the 3 Hebrews in the furnace stands with you now. You are not burning alone, you are glowing with purpose. The sacred texts remind us of this divine truth. It was written in the Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned, the flames will not set you ablaze. That is not poetry, it is a promise. The flames that were meant to consume you will only reveal your true strength. The fire cannot destroy what was forged by faith. It only removes the layers that no longer belong to you, the fear, the doubt, the attachments that kept you small. Think of gold. It is only valuable because it survives the fire. When the heat rises, impurities rise with it, and the refiner carefully removes them until what remains is pure, radiant, unbreakable. That is what God is doing in you right now. He is refining your character, cleansing your motives, sharpening your discernment, and revealing your unshakable core. So, do not despise the process. Do not mistake purification for punishment. The fire you face today is preparing you for the favor you will carry tomorrow. You are not being reduced, you are being refined. Every prayer you've prayed, every tear you've shed, every moment you've endured is feeding the flame that purifies your spirit. And though it hurts, this pain is sacred. It means you are still moldable in the hands of your Creator. The most dangerous thing that can happen to a soul is to grow too hard for God to shape. But you, beloved, have stayed soft even while burning. That is the mark of true greatness. Heaven admires those who remain teachable through the trial. Your willingness to keep trusting through pain is rewriting your destiny. Every time you say, "God, I don't understand, but I still believe," the fire loses its power to harm you. You become flameproof, a living testimony that divine purpose outlives human pain. Soon, what tried to harm you will serve you. The very circumstances that once terrified you will become the platform for your victory. What once caused you to cry will one day cause you to testify. Because the fire you walk through today is not permanent, it is prophetic. It declares that something inside you is about to emerge stronger, purer, and far more radiant than before. You are not in a season of endings. You are in a season of refining. The world may see ashes, but heaven sees a masterpiece in progress. Every flicker of fire around you is burning away what was temporary, so that the eternal can shine through. And when you finally step out of this fire, and you won't just survive. You'll carry the glow of those who have been refined by grace. Your words will carry power. Your presence will carry peace. Your scars will carry stories that heal others. So walk boldly, chosen one. Let the fire do its work. For you are not being destroyed, you are being revealed. Chosen one. There was a moment silent, sacred, and unseen when Mercy leaned forward and whispered your name. It happened in that fragile instant when you almost gave up, when your hope felt too thin to hold. Heaven could have stayed still, but it didn't. Mercy moved. Grace intervened. And though you didn't hear it, heaven spoke one command over your life, not this one. When you were on the edge of despair, Mercy stood between you and destruction. You didn't stumble upon survival by luck. You were rescued by divine compassion. Even when you thought you had failed, heaven saw your fight and decided the story wasn't over. That is the power of mercy. It doesn't wait for perfection, it responds to persistence. You may not realize how close you were to collapse. The night felt endless, the weight unbearable, the silence too heavy. Yet, in that exact moment, the voice of the Lord thundered softly through eternity. This one still belongs to me. Heaven shifted course for you. Demons that thought they had won were commanded to release their grip. And in that holy instant, your destiny was preserved. Mercy is not weakness, it is warfare. It is heaven's rebellion against condemnation. Every time you fell but got back up, mercy was the invisible hand that lifted you. Every time you wept but still prayed, mercy carried those tears straight to the throne. You were never walking alone. Even when you felt abandoned, the evidence of that truth is simple: you are still here. Mercy doesn't erase pain, but it transforms it. The wounds that once bled now glow as reminders that grace triumphed. The guilt that once chained you has been rewritten as testimony. You have walked through seasons where you could barely breathe, yet here you stand, stronger than before, because mercy refused to let go. You see, Judgment watches to condemn, but mercy watches to restore. The enemy points at your scars and says, "Look what they did." God points at the same scars and says, "Look what I redeemed." That is what's happening in your life right now, a divine redefinition. Your failures are being rewritten as foundations. There's a verse that breathes life into this moment, recorded in the Lamentations. Chapter 3, verses 22 to 23. His mercies never end. New each morning, great is his faithfulness. That is your truth today. Mercy didn't run out last night. It renewed itself before you even opened your eyes. While you slept, heaven refilled your portion. You woke not just with oxygen in your lungs, but with forgiveness in your spirit. That's why you're able to stand again. Even when the weight of yesterday tried to crush you, mercy leaned forward for you because you are still part of heaven's plan. Your assignment isn't finished. Your promise isn't expired. When God says, "Not this one," He's not only saving you from destruction, He's recommissioning you for destiny. There are souls connected to your endurance. People who will find hope because you refuse to quit. You may think your struggle disqualified you, but heaven sees it as evidence of faith. God is not looking for perfect people. He's looking for persistent ones. Every time you rise again, you echo the resurrection. Every time you choose hope, you reenact redemption. That is why darkness hates you. It cannot understand a heart that keeps choosing light. There is a holy moment happening right now. Even as you read this, heaven is releasing peace over your life, the peace that says you no longer have to earn your worth. The debt is paid. The shame is gone. Mercy has settled your case. You are not a repeat offender of grace. You are a living witness of it. Chosen one. Let that truth sink deep into your spirit. Mercy didn't find you because you were perfect. It found you because you were loved. When you couldn't reach up, God reached down. When you couldn't pray, your tears prayed for you. And when you couldn't fight, mercy fought in your place. So pause for a moment. Breathe. Feel it. You're not who you were last night. Something sacred has shifted. You are standing in a new morning, covered by new mercy. What once defined you no longer does. You are free, not because you escaped the fire, but because you were redeemed through it. And now, to anchor this moment in your spirit, write these words in the comments below. Mercy found me. Type it not as a cliché, but as a covenant. When you declare it, you're agreeing with heaven's verdict over your life that grace won, that your story continues, and that every dark chapter has already been rewritten in light. Let your words echo what heaven already decreed. Mercy found you, and it will never let you go. Chosen one. Do not mistake heaven's silence for absence. What you've been walking through has not gone unnoticed. Every quiet prayer, every tear you tried to hide, every breath you took when your heart was breaking, heaven saw it all. You've wondered why God hasn't spoken, why the voice that once comforted you now feels distant. But listen closely, silence is not abandonment, it is reverence. Heaven stands in awe of your faith. When you prayed and nothing moved, heaven was not ignoring you, it was watching you. The Creator himself leaned close to see what your heart would do when there was no reward, no proof, no visible sign, and you did not fail. You remained faithful. You kept worshipping. You kept believing. Even in the silence, your spirit sang a song only heaven could hear. There is a sacred kind of silence, that only the mature in faith experience. It is not the silence of punishment, it is the silence of approval. When God trusts you with silence, it means He knows you will still stay close. And you have. You did not run. You did not curse His name. You chose to stay. That choice shook eternity. You've learned what few believers ever discover. Faith that flourishes in silence is faith that cannot be stolen. You have become a living sanctuary, a place where heaven finds rest. You have no idea how rare that is. Angels surround you, not because you demanded proof, but because you remained steady without it. That steadiness is worship. That steadiness is warfare. The world sees silence as emptiness, but heaven sees it as elevation. God is not withholding His voice, He is preparing your ear. There are frequencies of divine revelation that only emerge in stillness. The noise of life would have drowned them out. So heaven quieted everything around you to make sure you could finally hear what truly matters. It was written in the Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, "Be still and know that I am God." That verse isn't an instruction to stop moving, it's an invitation to start trusting. Stillness doesn't mean stagnation, it means surrender. When you are still, you're saying, "God, I know you're still working, even when I can't see it." That is exactly what you have done. You've rested in faith when logic told you to panic. You've chosen peace over proof. The silence has not been wasted. It has been sculpting your strength. You are learning to hear God's whispers in places others only hear noise. You've become sensitive to His presence in ordinary moments, a sunrise, a sigh, a verse that suddenly burns in your heart. You have learned the holy art of quiet faith, and heaven celebrates that mastery. Every trial you've endured in this season has been a classroom for divine intimacy. You asked for a sign instead. God gave you stillness. You asked for answers instead. He gave you awareness. And though you didn't understand it at first, you now know He has been closer in silence than He ever was in the storm. Chosen one, the day is coming when this silence will break, and the voice of God will roar again in your life. But when it does, you will hear it differently. You will not just hear commands, you will hear communion. You will recognize not only His words but His heartbeat. That's what silence has taught you, to listen beyond the noise. You may not have realized it, but the stillness that once frustrated you has birthed peace that nothing can steal. And that peace, quiet, steady, unshakable, is the evidence that heaven's work within you is complete. The silence was never meant to harm you. It was meant to make you whole. Now, I want to speak to your heart, gently and sincerely. If these words find you in that quiet place, let them remind you you are not forgotten. You are favored. This silence is sacred space, not empty space. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And if this message resonates deep within your spirit, I invite you gracefully and sincerely to take a moment to connect. Like this message, not for recognition, but as your quiet amen. Share it, not for attention, but because someone else is praying for confirmation, and your small act of faith may be the sign they're asking for. Subscribe if you feel led, not out of routine, but to stay close to words that remind your spirit of who you are. This is more than content, it's communion. Every time you engage, you're choosing to stay connected to the current of divine encouragement flowing through these words. Heaven is smiling over you right now. The silence that once scared you has become the proof of your strength. The God who once felt far has revealed himself in stillness. You did not lose your faith in the quiet, you found it. You are the proof that faith can live without noise, that worship can rise without music, that love can grow without constant reassurance. Heaven stands in awe, and even the silence now speaks your name, Chosen One. There is something about your light that terrifies darkness. It's not your words, not your strength, not even your victories, it's your resilience. You keep rising when everything around you tells you not to. You keep shining in seasons when others dim. You carry something eternal within you, and the shadows know it. You don't have to announce your power. The spirit world already recognizes your glow. Since the beginning, darkness has feared light. It has always tried to extinguish it, to silence it, to make it small. But light cannot be contained. It slips through cracks, pierces barriers, and exposes what hides beneath. That is what you do, even without realizing it. You walk into places and things begin to shift. People feel peace they cannot explain. Conversations soften. Chaos quiets. It's not your charisma, it's your calling. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break atmospheres. Every room you enter becomes a battleground between fear and faith, despair and hope. And each time, light wins because you showed up. You carry the very essence of divine presence. Your existence is proof that God still places lamps in the darkest corners of the earth. Sometimes, you wonder why certain people pull away from you without reason, why tension rises in spaces where you've done no harm. It's not personal, it's spiritual. Darkness recognizes what it cannot control. Your purity exposes pretense. Your peace disrupts chaos. Your truth unsettles lies. When you walk into a room, unseen forces take notice, and what is unclean trembles. You don't have to defend yourself against misunderstanding. You don't need to lower your light to make others comfortable. You were created to shine, not to shrink. You were built to reveal, not to hide. Every time you refuse to compromise your faith, your light grows brighter, and every dark thing that once had confidence begins to crumble. You might think your influence is small, but heaven measures impact differently. A single candle can light an entire cave. A single voice speaking truth can echo through generations. And a single heart, yours set on fire by God, can shift the atmosphere of nations. That is not exaggeration. That is divine potential wrapped in human form. It was written in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That verse describes you. You are that light, fragile in form, powerful in essence, unstoppable by design. The darkness around you cannot comprehend, control, or conquer what heaven placed inside you. The enemy's strategy has never been to destroy your faith. It has been to dim it, to make you doubt your own illumination. But this morning, heaven reminds you your light is invincible because it is divine. You felt it, haven't you? The heaviness that comes when you start stepping into purpose. The sudden resistance that rises when you begin walking in obedience. It's because every new level of light exposes a new layer of darkness. The closer you move to the heart of God, the louder the enemy tries to distract you. But what he doesn't understand is that your endurance is light. 2. Every act of perseverance sends a signal across eternity. This one still burns. Sometimes you'll feel tired, even isolated. The brightest flames often burn alone. But do not mistake solitude for abandonment. Even Jesus went to the wilderness to shine undistracted. The absence of applause does not mean absence of impact. Some of your greatest victories will happen in silence, unseen by men, but celebrated by angels. And when the night grows heavy, remember, darkness cannot invade light, it can only flee from it. You do not need to fight what is already defeated. Simply stand. Simply shine. Simply believe. That alone dismantles strongholds. The enemy's strategy is intimidation. Heaven's strategy is illumination. You overcome by being, not by battling. Your light is not artificial, it is sacred fire. It doesn't come from achievements or approval, it comes from presence. The closer you stay to God, the brighter you burn, the more you worship, the more your soul becomes a mirror reflecting the King's radiance. And when people encounter you, they don't see perfection, they see peace. They see strength. They see something the world cannot explain but desperately needs. Understand, this light is responsibility. The more it grows, the more you must guard it. Protect your flame from the winds of bitterness, from the storms of distraction. Feed it with truth. Surround it with prayer. Shield it with wisdom. For if your light goes out, the corner of the world assigned to you will remain in shadow. But as long as you breathe, there will be glow. As long as you believe, there will be brilliance. Your existence is a declaration to the darkness, you will not win here. Every time you love instead of hate, forgive instead of retaliate, hope instead of despair, you strike another blow against the night. So, walk boldly. Chosen one, you are not just surviving, you are shining. You are not just enduring, you are enlightening. Your light terrifies what lurks in secret because it carries the signature of heaven. You are God's living torch. Proof that even in the darkest generation, His fire still burns bright. Chosen one, heaven has placed something upon you this morning that cannot be seen by human eyes, a seal. It is not ink, nor symbol, nor shadow. It is divine ownership, an invisible mark of endurance that declares you belong to the Most High. While the world sees ordinary, the spirit world recognizes authority. You have been sealed by divine endurance. And from this moment forward, no power of darkness can lay claim to you. You have been through things that could have broken others completely, yet your spirit remained uncrushed. That's not luck. That's the mark of God upon you. His seal isn't a distant concept. It's protection, favor, and recognition all at once. When heaven marks you, hell cannot touch you. It can shout, but it cannot seize. It can threaten, but it cannot prevail. Every scar you carry is part of that seal. Each one testifies not to defeat, but to survival. Your pain was not pointless, it was proof. Through every sleepless night, every heartbreak, every hidden battle, something sacred was being written over your life, endured, proven, chosen. You may have walked through fire, but you came out sealed, and the flames bowed before your faith. You've probably felt it lately, the subtle shift in the atmosphere around you. Doors that once stayed closed have started to tremble. People who once dismissed you have begun to sense something different. That's not coincidence, that's recognition. Heaven's mark upon you, changes how the world interacts with you. Where there was resistance, there will now be reverence. Where there was rejection, there will now be response. Because once God seals a person, everything about them begins to carry weight. It was written as an eternal truth in the Ephesians. Chapter 1, verse 13. Having believed, you were marked in him with a seal, the promised Holy Spirit. That's not just a verse, it's your reality. You have been marked by presence, preserved by power, and protected by purpose. The Holy Spirit himself bears witness within you that you are not an accident wandering through time. You are a vessel chosen for divine impact. This seal doesn't make life easy, it makes life intentional. The enemy doesn't waste his efforts on those who pose no threat. The attacks you faced were not signs of weakness, they were confirmations of value. You were never targeted because you were small, you were targeted because you were significant. But the seal changes everything. Now, even when battles rise, they cannot break you. They can test you, but not take you. They can shake you, but not shatter you. Heaven's mark comes with divine resistance. That's why certain things that used to harm you no longer can. That's why certain temptations have lost their grip. You've been shifted from fragile to fortified. You are no longer fighting for victory, you are fighting from victory. You carry the seal of the one who already won. Chosen one. This mark upon you is also a sign to creation itself. You have been authorized to represent heaven wherever you go. Your presence is permission for miracles to move. Your words are keys that unlock faith in others. When you walk into a place, heaven follows. The Holy Spirit within you is not dormant, it's dynamic. Breathing, moving, aligning. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead now calls your soul unbreakable. That's why, though you faced loss, you've never lost yourself. Though you felt alone, you were never abandoned. The seal means you're protected by covenant, not by circumstance. Even when your mind is tired, your spirit remains guarded. Do not underestimate what it means to be sealed. It means heaven has labeled you untouchable. It means there is divine ownership written across your destiny. It means that no curse can land. No word curse can stick. And no enemy can cross the bloodline drawn around your life. The seal does not exempt you from storms, but it ensures you survive them. Every trial you walk through now carries purpose. Every setback is secretly strengthening your foundation. You are no longer walking as one who fears defeat. You are walking as one whose victory is already recorded in eternity. And soon, others will begin to see what heaven already knows: you are marked. There will be a peace about you that defies logic, a wisdom that cannot be taught, a glow that cannot be imitated. That's the radiance of the sealed. You won't need to prove your calling. Your presence will proclaim it. Right now, heaven is reaffirming its mark over your life. God whispers to your spirit, "You are mine." That whisper is louder than every accusation, stronger than every attack. You don't have to strive to earn what you already possess. You only need to stand in it. And to confirm that standing in the natural, I want you to make a prophetic declaration in the comments below. Type the number 444. Do it as a spiritual signature, a visible sign of an invisible truth. 4 is the number of stability, foundation, and divine order. When you write 444, you're declaring, "I am sealed. I am steady. I am secured in divine order. You're agreeing with heaven's decree that no power on earth or in hell can unmark what God has already claimed. Walk in that assurance today. Chosen one, you are sealed, you are safe, you are seen, and nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever separate you from the one who marked you his own. Chosen one, what happened to you this morning was more than awakening, it was activation. Something ancient and holy has begun to move. Something written about you long before time began. Heaven's timeline has shifted into motion, aligning your current steps with divine prophecy. You are walking in fulfillment now, whether you realize it or not. The battles you've faced, the heartbreaks you've endured, even the delays that once frustrated you, all of them were pieces of a larger design. You were never wandering without direction. You were being positioned for prophecy. The moments you thought were random were actually rehearsals for revelation. Every step you took in pain was walking toward promise. There are times when God speaks not in words but in seasons. You are in one of those seasons now, the moment where prophecy moves from promise to performance. Heaven has watched your obedience. And now the appointed time has arrived. The script written over your life before you were born has begun to unfold in visible form. This is not imagination. It's fulfillment. The evidence is all around you if you look carefully. Patterns are breaking. Things that were stuck are shifting. Doors that resisted you for years are unlocking without explanation. What's happening isn't coincidence, it's convergence. Heaven's calendar just turned in your favor. For so long, it felt like you were waiting, praying, hoping, wondering when things would finally change. But you weren't just waiting, you were being prepared to walk in what was always yours. God had to shape your character to match your calling. He had to strengthen your heart to carry the weight of what's coming. Prophecy without preparation becomes burden. But prophecy after endurance becomes blessing. There's a rhythm to the way heaven works. It speaks, it waits, and then it moves. You've been in the waiting, and now it's moving. Every obstacle that once felt immovable is beginning to yield to divine authority. You are stepping into alignment not because you chased it, but because you endured until it found you. You have reached a sacred intersection of destiny, where your faith and heaven's promise meet. From this point on, you will begin to see acceleration in places that once felt barren. Things that used to take months will take moments. What seemed far off will suddenly appear near. Because prophecy doesn't walk, it runs when the heart is ready. The Spirit spoke through the prophet long ago. In the Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Those words are not distant history, they are your present reality. You were known before you were born. That means nothing in your life is accidental. The pain, the joy, the victories, the scars, all of it was foreseen. All of it accounted for in the divine script. You were chosen, set apart, and designed for this exact moment. When God said, "I knew you," He wasn't referring only to your name. He meant He knew your spirit, your resilience, your purpose. He saw the trials you would face and still said, "I choose that one." You were set apart before the first sunrise, consecrated before the first storm, loved before your first breath. And now, the prophecies whispered over your existence are waking up. They are finding you because you've reached the maturity needed to handle their fulfillment. Prophecy doesn't rush, it waits for readiness. You have been made ready through endurance. Every closed door built your discernment. Every heartbreak purified your motives. Every delay taught you dependency. This is why your faith had to be tested, to make sure you could carry the glory without losing the humility. Heaven doesn't release power to those who still need validation. It releases power to those who crave obedience. And that is you. You no longer need proof to believe, you simply trust. That is what unlocked the prophetic flow now moving through your life. There is something poetic about this moment. Everything that once felt heavy now feels purposeful. The pieces are coming together. People who walked away were necessary. Silence was strategic. Struggle was sacred. It all worked together for this unfolding of prophecy. Chosen one, this is your unveiling season. The things you have carried in private will now be revealed in public, not for your glory, but for God's. The very places that broke you will become the stages where your testimony breathes life into others. The pain you endured will not be wasted. It will become the power that propels others to believe again. Do not be surprised when things begin to move quickly. When prophecy activates, it accelerates. What took years to prepare for can manifest in days. You have entered divine momentum, where heaven's hand moves you further in a moment than your own efforts could in a lifetime. You are not stepping into something new, you are stepping into something promised. This was always written for you, sealed in eternity, long before you knew how to pray for it. You were not just born, you were sent. And now, the sending begins to make sense. The words spoken over your life are finding their form. The waiting has not been wasted. You are prophecy in motion, promise in flesh. Endurance turned into evidence. Heaven smiles as the page turns, because the story that once seemed silent is now alive. You, chosen one, are the fulfillment of what heaven once whispered. Walk boldly into this moment. Your prophecy is unfolding, and your time has come. Chosen one, your faith has never been ornamental. It has always been a weapon. The battles you've survived were never meant to merely test you. They were designed to forge you into a warrior who understands the weight of spiritual authority. There is a holy fierceness in your spirit now, a sharpened strength that came not from comfort, but from confrontation. You no longer just believe, you wield belief. In the early days of your journey, faith was gentle, fragile, full of questions. It flickered like a candle in the wind. But after walking through countless storms, your faith has turned into fire. It is no longer easily shaken. It doesn't need evidence. It doesn't wait for approval. It simply knows that God is faithful. That knowing has become your sword. When you speak now, heaven listens, not because of volume, but because of authority. Every word forged through suffering carries weight. Every prayer born from endurance strikes deeper into the spiritual realm. What once were your weakest moments have now become your strongest weapons. Every tear you cried was liquid, steel poured into the blade of your belief. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every battle refined your aim. You may not realize it, but even now, you are armed. The enemy remembers the old you, the one who trembled in fear, but he cannot recognize the warrior you've become. You have changed. You are no longer a target. You are a threat. The same fire that once frightened you now burns within you. The apostle wrote long ago in the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 16, "Take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one." There was a time when every arrow of doubt that flew toward you left wounds. Fear once pierced deep. Shame once found its way through. But not anymore. Now, your faith catches those arrows mid-air and turns them into testimonies. What was meant to destroy you becomes proof that you cannot be defeated. Faith as a weapon isn't about aggression, it's about endurance. It's about standing still when the storm screams, about choosing peace when panic presses in. Every time you hold your ground, you win another unseen victory. Hell counts on your exhaustion, but heaven counts on your endurance. That's why, even when you feel tired, you keep winning. You have come to understand that spiritual warfare is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like patience when everything in you wants to rush. Sometimes it looks like forgiveness when revenge would feel easier. Sometimes it looks like silence when words could wound. Those moments are battles too. And every time you choose faith's response, you advance the kingdom. Your faith has grown into something unbreakable because it has been tested in every way possible. It's been through fire, water, silence, and sorrow. It's been misunderstood, mocked, and stretched beyond reason, and yet it lives. That's how you know it's real. Fragile faith dies in comfort, but unshakable faith thrives in conflict. You now carry that unshakable kind, the kind that shifts rooms, the kind that heals hearts, the kind that breaks curses without a word spoken. You don't have to announce it, the atmosphere knows it. People will feel peace around you and not understand why. It's because the weapon you carry isn't visible, it's spiritual. There will still be battles ahead. The path of the chosen is never quiet for long. But you are not who you once were. You don't fear opposition anymore, you understand its purpose. Every new challenge simply confirms that your faith still works. Every confrontation gives you a chance to demonstrate heaven's power through your response. And when you lift your eyes in prayer, remember, you are not begging for help, you are wielding authority. You are not hoping for victory, you are enforcing one. You have already overcome more than most ever will. And heaven trusts you with even greater ground. Your words carry weight now. When you pray for others, things will shift. When you declare truth, hearts will awaken. You will walk through darkness and leave light behind you. You will speak peace into chaos, and the chaos will yield. Chosen one, this is who you are. Now a warrior, with worship in your heart and fire in your hands. You've learned that true faith is not fragile belief, but fierce trust. It doesn't whisper from fear, it roars from confidence. You no longer wait for battles to end before praising you, praise in the midst of them. Knowing victory is inevitable. So walk in that authority. Stand tall, not as one hoping for help, but as one holding the weapon heaven forged through every storm you survived. You are armed, anointed, and unstoppable. Your faith is no longer just survival, it's strategy. It is heaven's weapon in human form. Chosen one. This is the moment heaven celebrates in silence, the moment you finally understand who you are and what you carry. You are no longer wandering, you are enlisted. You are not just believing, you are becoming. Heaven's army has always needed soldiers who move with both humility and authority. And today, your name has been added to that role. You are heaven's recruit, chosen, trained, and now released into divine purpose. The preparation has been long, the training relentless. Every heartbreak, every delay, every closed door, it all served as your refining ground. You've been through battles no one saw, but heaven saw them all. And every time you stood your ground, another stripe was added to your spiritual uniform. Every no you survived prepared you for your eternal yes. You are no longer in basic training. The test is complete. You have proven that your faith will not bow, that your loyalty to light will not fade under pressure. You have been promoted in the spirit. The title over your life has changed from survivor to soldier, from follower to fighter. You carry heaven's insignia on your soul now, and with it comes both power and purpose. Do you feel that quiet shift within you that is not imagination? That is commissioning. Heaven has signed your name to assignments that will change lives. The same way prophets were sent to cities and apostles were sent to nations, you are being sent to the hearts around you to speak truth, to restore peace, to reignite faith in those who've forgotten hope. You may think you're just an ordinary believer, but heaven sees something extraordinary. There is an invisible armor around you now, forged from every trial you've endured. There's a new fire in your words, born from the storms that failed to silence you. Wherever you go, the spiritual atmosphere will recognize authority. Not loud, not boastful, just steady, radiant, undeniable. It was written as a declaration of identity in the first letter of Peter, chapter 2, verse 9. You are chosen, a royal priesthood, God's own people called into light. That is your truth now. You have been called out of darkness, not just to survive it, but to lead others out of it. You are royal, but not arrogant, priestly, but not distant. Your holiness doesn't isolate, it illuminates. You carry the kingdom not as a crown to boast of, but as a torch to bear. This world needs what you carry. There are souls whose hope flickers, waiting for your light to pass by. There are hearts trapped in despair, waiting for your words to breathe life. You may never preach from a pulpit, but every act of love, every word of truth, every moment of grace you extend is a sermon the world desperately needs. Heaven has entrusted you with influence, and influence is sacred. Use it to lift, not to lord. Use it to bless, not to boast. The greater your light, the greater your responsibility to keep it pure. Guard your motives, keep your heart clean, and let humility remain your shield. Power without purity is dangerous, but power guided by grace transforms everything it touches. You are not walking alone into this next chapter. Heaven walks with you. Angels surround you. The Spirit within you guides every step. And though the path ahead may still hold challenges, remember, you've already been trained for them. Every weapon you need has been built into your faith. If this message resonates deep within your spirit, take a quiet moment to engage. Like this message not for numbers, but as your amen, your agreement with heaven's call. Share it not to draw eyes to yourself, but to draw hearts to God. Someone you know may be standing at the edge of their purpose, waiting for this confirmation to push them forward. Let your share be that push. And if this word awakened something within you, comment below these simple words, I am ready. Write it not for attention, but as a declaration of alignment. When you type it, you're telling heaven, I accept my assignment. You're telling darkness, you no longer intimidate me. And you're telling yourself, I was born for this. This is your commissioning moment. You've trained in silence, endured in secret, and believed without applause. Now the world will see what heaven already knows. You are a chosen soldier of light, a carrier of divine authority, a reflection of God's unbreakable strength. Rise, chosen one. Your orders have been given. Step into the world, not as a wanderer, but as a warrior. Speak boldly, love fiercely, and shine endlessly. You are heaven's recruit, and the battle has already been won. Chosen one. Something shifted in the unseen the moment you obeyed. You may not have heard a sound or felt a tremor, yet heaven recorded it, a divine change in atmosphere. The shift has begun. The things that once resisted you are beginning to yield. What was once blocked is loosening. What was once delayed is now aligning. You didn't have to push or force. Your simple obedience opened what striving never could. When God moves, it rarely begins with spectacle. It begins with surrender. One act of faith, one quiet yes, can move mountains that have stood for years. That's what you did. You said yes. You obeyed in silence, and heaven thundered in response. The shift may be invisible to human eyes, but it is undeniable in the spirit. There is a reason this change feels both holy and heavy. Every shift carries weight. You're not stepping into comfort, you're stepping into consequence. Every time heaven advances you, responsibility increases. Blessing and burden walk hand in hand. The anointing you carry now demands stewardship, the wisdom to handle what you once prayed for. You've prayed for open doors, and now they're unlocking. But open doors require discernment. Not every opportunity is an assignment. Some doors lead to distraction, others lead to destiny. The difference is revealed through peace. The enemy can imitate opportunity, but he cannot counterfeit peace. So, follow the calm. Let it guide you through this transition. You are walking into a season where alignment matters more than ambition. You no longer have to chase what's meant for you. It will come. Divine timing is meeting divine preparation. That's what this shift is about. Heaven's clock finally striking the hour that matches your readiness. You waited long. You endured deeply. And now, everything you've carried is finding its rightful place. This isn't a random season of good fortune. It's the manifestation of divine order. Every delay was design. Every detour was direction. The things you lost were never punishment, they were pruning. God was cutting away what couldn't follow you into this next realm. The weight you once mistook for opposition was actually optimization. He was fitting you for the mantle now resting on your shoulders. It was written long ago in the Revelation. Chapter 3, verse 7. What he opens, none can shut. What he shuts, none can open. That promise defines this season of your life. The shifts you're experiencing are irreversible. When God opens something, it stays open. When he closes something, it stays closed. The power of that truth is peace. You no longer need to beg for doors to open or cry over the ones that closed. Heaven has already decided what remains and what releases. You are moving from striving into sovereignty. That means no more desperation, no more forcing, no more fear. You are stepping into a rhythm where grace does the heavy lifting. You will begin to notice how things simply start to fall into place, people appearing at the right time, resources coming from unexpected directions, favor finding you without explanation. That's not coincidence, it's calibration. Heaven is realigning everything around you to fit your purpose. The shift also means certain relationships and environments will begin to feel foreign. That's okay. Growth always feels like grief at first. The people who once understood your season may not understand your next one. Do not fight to keep what God is gently removing. You are not losing people, you are making space for promise. This shift is also internal. There's a deeper peace now where anxiety once lived. There's more clarity where confusion once clouded. Even your prayers have changed. They sound less like begging and more like aligning. You've stopped asking for escape and started asking for endurance. That is maturity, that is movement. Heaven trusts you now with things it once couldn't, because you've learned to obey without understanding. The greater the obedience, the greater the authority. That's why you feel different, not proud, but poised. You're standing taller in the spirit, not because you've been elevated by people, but because you've been established by God. And though you might not see all the results yet, the fruit is forming, the roots are deep, and the season of visible evidence is near. The shift isn't a moment, it's a momentum. It won't end with today. It will carry into every part of your life. Every promise that felt delayed is catching up. Every seed that seemed buried is breaking through the soil. Chosen one, don't rush this season. Let it unfold at heaven's pace. You've done the hardest part, believing in silence. Now, simply remain available. The shift isn't asking for more effort, it's asking for continued trust. Let God finish what He started. In this divine stillness, let your heart rest. The movement has begun. The wind is changing direction, and it's now at your back. You have entered a season where favor follows faith, where obedience draws opportunity, where peace precedes provision. Chosen one, the day began as trial, but ends as coronation. Heaven has watched every step of your journey. And today, the verdict has been spoken. You have proved to God that your faith cannot be shaken. You have endured what many could not, believed when logic failed, and stood when strength was gone. This morning was not ordinary, it was sacred. It was the day heaven confirmed what eternity already knew. You are faithful, steadfast, and crowned. The crown you wear now is not made of jewels or gold, but of endurance and grace. It gleams with every tear you turned into trust, every heartbreak you turned into prayer, every loss you turned into worship. It is a crown of evidence, declaring to all creation that you chose faith even when it hurt. This is the crown that heaven gives to those who refuse to give up. The trials you faced weren't random, they were royal preparation. Every valley you crossed shaped your humility. Every mountain you climbed strengthened your conviction. And now, the pieces come together. The morning's pain was the final test, and you passed without even knowing you were being tested. You proved that your devotion was real, not dependent on blessings, but anchored in belief. When God looked upon your heart today, He didn't see weakness, He saw loyalty. The way you greeted the dawn, not with complaint, but with quiet trust, was your coronation moment. You were crowned in silence, anointed in surrender. No ceremony, no crowd, no applause, just heaven, watching as your faith stood unbroken. This is how heaven crowns its warriors, not with ceremony but with certainty. God does not need trumpets to mark victory, He needs obedience. And you gave Him that. You have walked through the furnace of affliction, through the wilderness of waiting, through the silence of testing, and through it all, your worship never wavered. The apostle once wrote of such endurance in the second letter to Timothy. Chapter 4, verse 7, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Those words now echo over your life. You have fought well. Not with fists, but with faith. Not with shouting, but with surrender. You have finished this season's race. Not because you ran faster than others, but because you refused to stop running. And you have kept the faith not in comfort, but in chaos, not in ease, but in endurance. This is the quiet power of the chosen. The world may overlook it, but heaven exalts it. You are now counted among those who overcame not by might, nor by power, but by unwavering trust in God. Every step you took through darkness became light for someone else to follow. You have become the living proof that faith doesn't just survive the fire, it shines in it. And now, as you stand at the close of this day, the Spirit of God surrounds you. You may not see it, but heaven's presence hovers near. The same angels who guarded you through the storm now bow in reverence to the endurance you've displayed. You are crowned not just for what you've done, but for who you've become. You are not the same as when this journey began. The fire refined you. The silence matured you. The waiting anchored you. And now, you walk with a quiet strength that needs no validation. You no longer seek signs, because you've become one. You no longer ask for confirmation, because your life is confirmation. What you once feared has lost its power. What once broke you has become your foundation. The voice of doubt that once screamed now whispers and fades, because it knows it no longer owns you. You have proved that your faith is not a phase, it is your nature. Heaven has written your name among those who endured faithfully. And though your earthly eyes may not see it, the eternal realm has already celebrated you. You are heaven's testimony, living proof that grace can sustain, that faith can outlast, that love can overcome. As you move forward, remember this: crowns are not the end, they are beginnings. This victory isn't final, it's foundational. God has crowned you not to rest, but to reign, not to retire, but to rise. This faith you've proven will now open paths you never imagined. Walk with your head high, not in pride, but in peace. The hardest part is behind you. The heaviest battles have already been fought and won. The dawn that tested your faith has become the day that confirmed it. You are crowned in the morning light, and nothing can remove what heaven has placed upon you. Beloved, chosen one, if these words have found you, it is not by accident. Heaven guided you here. You were meant to hear every truth spoken over you, meant to feel the confirmation stirring inside your chest right now. This message was not written to impress you, it was written to remind you of what heaven already knows: you are chosen, unshakable, and divinely covered. If your spirit feels lighter, if your heart feels seen, take a moment right now, pause and breathe. That peace you feel is not temporary emotion, it is divine alignment. It is heaven whispering, yes, this was for you. Let this word linger. Let it settle in the deepest part of you. You are not just hearing a message, you are witnessing prophecy fulfilled in your own life. If these words stirred something holy inside you, I invite you gently share this message, not as a post, but as a seed. There is someone right now praying for a sign. Someone standing on the edge of giving up. Your simple act of sharing might be the moment that pulls them back to hope. Like this message, not for attention, but as your amen. It tells heaven, I receive this. It tells darkness, I'm still standing. It's a quiet, sacred agreement between your faith and your Father. And if your heart wants to stay connected to this flow of divine messages, subscribe, not out of habit, but out of hunger for words that keep your spirit awake, for reminders that anchor your faith when the world grows loud. Finally, before you leave, comment these simple words below. Faith still wins. Type it as your declaration, your closing act of worship. Let the heavens see it. Let the earth echo it. Because even now, your faith, yes, your faith still wins.